Alright, so this is the first time using this feature for my YouTube channel, or period. Actually, I think I attempted one other time, but at the time, YouTube hadn't updated, and I had to jump through hoops. Anyways, this is my first live, and this is my review slash thoughts on the M. Night Shyamalan movie called Glass. And my thoughts are still racing. I just came out of the movie, and it'll probably be less of a straight review or critique and more just a couple quick thoughts and feelings, and that's much it. That's pretty much it. Now, I'm sorry. I'm obviously not seasoned at making videos or being in front of camera and things like that, so I've got some mannerisms and stammering and ums and ahs, so bear with me. I'll try and get better, and hopefully, hopefully this will be enjoyable slash thought-provoking. But anyways, I'm already a minute in, so I'll try and be brief. Now this, if you don't know, is the conclusion, potentially, or at least the latest in... Well, actually, scrap that. I'm not even going to mention that. So, Glass. I really thought it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Initially, it was hard for me to get into it. I was enjoying what I was seeing, but I was also very conscious that I was watching a movie and I couldn't fully immerse it. I thought it was a high quality movie, an enjoyable movie. I was enjoying the ride, but eventually I was fully immersed. Now, I definitely understand, or I should say I'm not surprised that this is not as well received as it could be, and that's just because the general public have an appetite for things going a certain way, and for certain stereotypes and things like that. And in classic M. Night tradition, he does what he wants to do and tells the story that he wants to tell, and there's twists, shocking turns or whatever. Actually, I don't know that they are, but anyways, they don't play out the way that a person might typically want, and people obviously dislike not getting what they want. Now, there was... Now, as far as the twists and whatnot, I'm not going to give away the twists or turns or surprise reveals or whatever, but there was one that I suspected in the trailers that I was correct about. Obviously, I didn't know exactly how it would play out or how it would be revealed, but once it was revealed, I was like, yep, I knew it. I knew it. And maybe I will say what that was at the end or in another video, but I'll try and make this brief. The movie, right off the bat, basically got me wanting to be super again. And I say again because when I was a child, I wanted to be a superhero. I looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger, I looked at Bruce Lee, I looked at Spider-Man comics and movies, and they all went into this pot and mixed together and made me want to be extraordinary. And obviously you grow up in this world just like I did, and even though we put extraordinary quote-unquote people, or we put quote extraordinary end quote people on a pedestal, there's this actual counter effort to stamp out extraordinariness and try and stamp out people from reaching their full potential or standing out or otherwise rocking the boat. I really hope you can hear me. I'm in a movie theater and I don't know. Hopefully it's picking up the sound. But anyways, so obviously a lot of us get lulled into just the grind, and almost a lot of us give up on life ultimately. And then, but when I was a kid, and I think when you were a kid, I'm pretty confident that you probably had an excitement and a zest and a zeal for life and just wanted to be the best you. You saw adults and they were your pantheon. Adults, I hate how adults always look down on and badmouth children, and they don't understand or respect the amount of adoration children have for adults. Adults are gods to children. They actually think that you have your crap together. They actually think that you know what you're talking about. They actually want to be like you. Anyways, so this movie made me reconnect with that feeling of wanting to be great. And so it made me want to be great. I saw one of the twists coming, or one of the story points coming, I'll say. And also didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but at the same time, I appreciate that because that's how I tell stories myself, and that's how I believe life goes. I'm kind of a pessimist. I believe in Murphy's Law, and I think life's a struggle, especially when you're trying to do the right thing and things don't often go well for the good guys. And that reality often makes people want to be, well, if they don't want to outrightly be bad, they definitely don't want to be good, because it seems like it doesn't pay off. And even myself, I am taking a break or at a crossroads or whatever, and have almost thrown up my hands and given up on the path of light and being a good guy. But that's a story for another time and another type of video. But anyways, it's all to kind of add some context to my thoughts of this movie. And Mr. Glass's mother reminded me of, okay, she didn't remind me of my sister, but her belief in her son reminded me of my relationship with my sister. And I'll hopefully elaborate on that too in other videos when I'm not just talking about entertainment and things like that. But I had a very hard time communicating my feelings when I was a child, and I was different and emotional and all this stuff. And although my family is very special, they still didn't understand me. And one of them, my oldest sister named Crystal, always believed in me, or at least at least she convinced me that she believed in me. And that was enough. That was enough to protect me. Anyways, so I always recognized that love and protection that this character showed the other character, and it was familiar. Now it was like so, like I was just talking about earlier, how kids look to adults for guidance, protection, and think they have their stuff together. My sister always had a very focused purpose, and one of the functions of that purpose was assisting me, protecting me. And yeah, I guess I'd have to fully develop these thoughts to share them in a meaningful way. But so it was very cool and relatable to see this unswerving, you know what I'm trying to say. This unswerving love and belief and backing in somebody else's corner. And so you can be great. In fact, you already are great. And you probably don't believe that. And you've probably been beaten down and broken. I feel for you. But get your butt in the gym. Get yourself out there on a limb, and you won't always have your own crystal or protector. Or actually you do, but they're not all as good as mine. So I'm sorry, but anyways, stop sleeping on yourself. Stop going so easy on yourself, and freaking try and reach your potential or die trying. Be great. Get in shape. Grow your mind. Become a spiritual titan. Develop your body. Stop just squandering time and energy and feeling sorry for yourself and being lulled into just being part of another cog in the system. None of this, I didn't intend for any of this to be in my review or thoughts, but this all relates back to Glass. Anyway, so it's not surprising that it's got mixed reviews. It's not a happy ending. Things aren't all peachy keen. And it's not, even though it's very spectacular, it's subdued at the same time. That's one of M. Night shows restraint. It's not it's a superhero movie, but within our own realm. What else did I want to say? This is already approaching 15 minutes. I kind of wanted to get it under 10, but oh well. What else? Potential. Oh, I definitely wasn't. It was interesting seeing Bane in this movie. Now, you're probably going to be like, what? Bane's in this movie? No, he's not really in this movie. But there's this big SWAT guy. Like SWAT team guy. And it was like, now that is how Bane should be depicted in a movie. And, man, he was a monster. He's nothing to mess with. Seeing this guy, and he's only in it briefly, so don't get your hopes up to see some giant cameo for a Batman villain. But I was like, now the way they showed him, his boots, his what is it, cargo pants or whatever, the ones with all the pockets, and just his stature and beefiness, I was like, now that is one dangerous dude, and he was. Anyways, what else? I see somebody tuned in. That's interesting. I wonder who you are. So yeah. Oh, it's also. I'm sorry. Hopefully you'll get to know me, and I'll get my act together and we'll make a catalog of different types of movies or reviews, videos, whatever. But anyways, I say that because it's also interesting seeing this type of superhero movie paired with other superhero movies that tackle similar topics, like what Zack Snyder did with the DCEU, showing the realism and how society would interact with extraordinary or super people. And this is also showing how, I guess, superheroes could be depicted in the real world and how they would exist in the real world. Pair that with The Watchmen, which is like another take on heroes in the quote real world, end quote. And I like movies that have that depth, that realism, and it's a mixture of both, we'll say, sweet and sour, or sweet and salty flavors of things that you want to happen and things that you never want to happen that happen. Characters that you love or are endearing getting hurt and whatnot. But anyways, I'm going on and on, so I thought Glass was very well done, very high quality. The acting was pretty good. There's a couple, I mean, it's not flawless. Like, the CGI is bad in one particular scene where you see Bruce Willis and James McAvoy fighting, and it just looks like CGI, and there's a water tank that looks like CGI, but overall, it doesn't really take away from the film. But it's a high-quality movie, good acting, interesting story, and as far as my personal enjoyment goes, it's right up my alley, and it definitely was moving, and if I bought more movies, I'd definitely buy this one, and I want to buy this one, so hopefully you see it, hopefully you support it, and go in expecting to be disappointed because things are not going to go your way, especially if you're the typical moviegoer that wants happy endings, that wants your heroes to be untouchable. Alright, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, YouTube, for allowing me to use this live function. Thank you, viewer, whoever you are. It's probably one of my siblings or somebody that knows me, and if it's not, thank you. And if it is, thank you. Alright, that's enough.